Hi there, and welcome to Her Season of Strength, where women over 40 reclaim their bodies, their energy, and their voices without apologies. I'm Kim Duffy, registered dietitian, personal trainer, mom, and your biggest hype woman when it comes to aging like you mean it. This show isn't about chasing skinny or counting wrinkles. It's about building real strength, physical, emotional, and hormonal. Each week, I'll share straight-talking nutrition tips, sustainable fitness strategies, and conversations that help you feel powerful in your skin once again. Menopause isn't an ending, it's only the beginning. This is your season of strength. Hello, friend. Welcome back to Her Season of Strength. I am so happy you're here, and thank you so much for taking just a couple minutes to hang with me. So, I want you to picture this. It's Saturday afternoon, it's cold and gloomy outside, and I'm in the kitchen making this amazing chicken tortilla soup. This was last weekend, the kind that makes your whole house smell like heaven, and your stomach starts growling before it's even done. But of course, being me, I can't just leave a recipe alone. No, I'm tossing in extra chicken for protein, I'm adding black beans for fiber, I'm topping it with Greek yogurt instead of sour cream, because if I can make something more filling and macro balanced, you better believe I'm going to do it. Right? And as I'm stirring the pot, I thought, you know what? More women need meals like this. Easy, delicious, satisfying, and supportive of their goals, right? You eat it and you don't have to worry like, oh gosh, you know what? I'm going to have to do an extra, hour-long session of cardio to burn this off, or make you not feel as good, make you feel kind of heavy. You want a meal that's delicious and satisfying, but it's got, good for you type things in it. So I went ahead, I created a brand new 7-day high protein meal plan. So I had created one here, it was probably about a year ago, and I've had tons of people who've grabbed this meal plan, and I thought it's time for some new recipes to give out. And this one is so good. It's got this chicken tortilla soup that I made. It's got pumpkin peanut butter cups. It's got cinnamon roll mug cake, and other really, really good recipes. So things that you're like, oh wait, those don't sound overly healthy, but they are. And you know what? They're tasty too. So you'll have to grab that. I will put the link in the show notes. Each day of this meal plan is going to average just under 1,500 calories. It's going to give you over 100 grams of protein and at least 23 grams of fiber each day. And the best part's totally free, right? You can grab it in the link in the show notes, like I said. But today I want to go beyond recipes. I want to talk about something that can completely change the game when it comes to consistency. And that is meal planning, not the rigid Pinterest perfect kind of like crazy complex recipes, but real life planning that keeps you full, fueled, and feeling good all week. So grab your coffee or maybe your grocery list and let's jump into it. Okay. So let's start here. When I say meal planning, people usually fall into two camps. They either light up and say, oh, I love planning my meals, or they break out in hives just hearing the word plan. It sounds like something that requires color-coded containers and label makers, right? But here's the truth. Meal planning isn't about perfection. It's about intention. It's simply just giving your future self a little helping hand. Because let's be honest, protein and fiber don't magically land in your lunchbox by accident next to that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? So let's break down what meal planning really means and why it's one of the most powerful tools for hitting your nutrition goals without feeling like you're on a diet. So meal planning, it's not about being rigid or restrictive. It's flexible, okay? It's the opposite of dieting. It's just about being prepared and prepping beforehand in advance. It's planning for success, but not perfection. And it's about reducing that decision-making fatigue that we all get, especially by the end of the week. We're tired, we're stressed, we don't want to even think about what we're going to make for dinner at the end of the day because it's been a long day, right? So it's about reducing that decision fatigue and increasing consistency, because the more repetitions that we get in there, the easier it's going to become, and it's going to become more of that habit, right? It doesn't mean, though, that we have to prep every single bite ahead of time. It just means that you go into the week with a loose roadmap instead of crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. when it comes specifically to women in midlife or postmenopausal, here's the thing. When we plan ahead, we take the stress out of eating well. It's going to help us to just be more consistent when life gets busy, because we know life always gets busy. There's always something going on. If you still have kids in the house, you're running them to activities. Is there yard work to do? Is there snow shoveling to do? But there's always something going on. But it's going to help us to hit our protein and fiber goals, which are also going to help us to keep our blood sugars steady and our energy stable all day. So it's going to reduce our cravings, and it's going to especially reduce that late night snacking. We're not going to have those days where it's like, oh, I didn't get a chance to eat, or maybe I didn't pack lunch, so I didn't eat anything all day, and then you get home and you're absolutely famished and you can't stop eating because your body's trying to make up for, not eating anything all day. This is going to save time and money, because we all know that when we come home and we're, don't know what we're going to make, we're much more likely to order that DoorDash or to say, let's just go out and grab something to eat. And typically those things it's not going to be as quality. We're going to probably eat more than what we normally would if we had made something at home. Not to mention, then we have to think about it. Whereas if we have a plan in place, you know what? We're saving on some of that brain power. It's going to help us to feel more in control of our nutrition and our energy levels. And for women in midlife, this is huge, because protein and fiber are our power duo. They're going to help preserve muscle. They're going to help to support those hormones and help us to feel full and focused. So now that you know why meal planning matters, let's make it simple enough that you'll actually want to do it, because you don't need to turn your Sunday into a full-blown meal prep marathon or create a spreadsheet worthy of NASA. Let's make this doable. Grab your notes app, because I'm about to walk you through my easy, no-stress meal planning process. So first of all, let's pick our planning day. Put it into your calendar, whether that's whatever days that you have off work for the week. It's probably going to be the beginning of those days. So, if you have Saturday and Sunday off, maybe it's Friday evening, maybe it's Saturday morning. You're going to take maybe 15 or 20 minutes to look at your week and plan your meals around your schedule. Maybe that means pulling out some simple recipes. Maybe that means just taking a look around your refrigerator and your freezer to see, inventorying what you have so that you know what you need to get at the grocery store. One nice thing about the 7-day meal plan that I created, it actually has a grocery list. So there's 8 recipes all in all. And basically those 8 recipes you're going to be eating on all week long. So that's going to give you 3 meals a day and 2 snacks a day. And it creates a full grocery list of everything needed for all of those meals, right? Just to make it super quick and easy. But you can do the same thing. So maybe you're going to pick that planning day. Maybe you know that you're going to make, chicken enchiladas or chicken tortilla soup like I made. So then you figure out, what do I need to buy? What do I have in the house? And your second step is to start small. If you're brand new to meal planning, don't start by thinking you need to make every single meal for every single day and prep every single snack, right? Because you know what? That's going to be a lot, and it's not going to be sustainable. And I'm afraid that you're going to say, screw this. I don't want to do this. This is too hard, and you're going to quit. So I want you to focus on one meal. What meal is your biggest struggle? Is it that you never get breakfast because you're always running out the door? So maybe you decide, I'm going to make breakfast muffins, right? So that I can throw them in the freezer. Maybe I just grab a couple, I warm them up in the microwave, eat them on the way to work, or maybe you eat them at work. Or maybe you actually can sit down and have them before you even leave for work. Is it that you want to save a little money because you're always going and grabbing fast food over the lunch hour because you never bring something from home? So maybe it's lunch. Maybe you want to have leftovers that are ready to just grab and take and then warm up at lunch. And the nice thing about it is that, lunch and dinner, you can be eating the same types of meals for both. So, you pack up a bunch of lunch and dinner meals and they're ready to go, and you can intermix them. So maybe you had one for lunch, you're going to have a different one for dinner. And then tomorrow you're going to switch it over. That's what I like to do in a lot of my meal plans, is that, if you had chicken tortilla soup for dinner one night, maybe you have it for lunch the next day and you have something different for dinner. So when we're doing simple meal planning, I want you to start with that protein first. Protein is always the anchor. You're going to build everything around it. So if you're a meat eater, figure out you're going to have chicken, you're going to have fish, you're going to have turkey, you're going to have beef, you're going to have pork, you're going to have eggs, dairy products, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, soy products like tofu, edamame, natto, or beans like lentils, black beans, chickpeas. Those are all good sources of protein. So you can build your meals around those. Or you can intermix. Maybe you have some meat, maybe you have some beans as well. Then you're going to add your fiber and your color. So that's where your veggies and fruit come in. So we want to aim for at least 25 grams of fiber per day. My meal plans have 23, I believe, is an average. Is an average per day in the meal plan. Just so that you can kind of see, okay, how can I get there? Because fiber, we know that that's so important. If you'll go back to episode 10, what is your gut trying to tell you? I talked about the importance of, what are the key ingredients we need to maintain that gut health and why gut health is important. But fiber is a big one. It's going to help to support our digestion. It's going to slow down how fast we're digesting food. So that's going to help to create that nice blood sugar stability. And it's also going to help us to feel full and satisfied. Okay, it is key. Not to mention just all the good antioxidants, and it's super important, in our bodies to help to decrease inflammation. And 5, we're going to talk about smart carbs and fats. So think complex carbs like beans, sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, or other those high fiber carbohydrates. And choosing, trying to stick to maybe one portion if you can. So maybe like a half or 2/3 a cup of one of those. And then adding in your healthy fats, serving your healthy fats. So maybe that's olive oil, ghee, avocado oil, nuts and seeds. That's just going to help, as we said, to kind of give you that steady energy and to help support those hormones. Step 6, I want you to prep once but eat twice. What does that mean? Is I want you to cook double portions of whatever you're making, whether it's a meal prep or maybe it's just double portions of the protein that you're making. Or maybe you pick 2 different types of proteins. And I want you to chop or make extra veggies as well so that you always have something quick and easy to be able to throw together, okay, in a pinch. So maybe on Sunday you roast, a pan of veggies like Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, sweet potatoes, squash cubes. I don't care, just to be able to throw into dishes. Or you steam just a bunch of broccoli, or you saute some asparagus. I don't care. Whatever is your favorite veggies, just always having those to be able to throw into your meals. And then you always have something that you can throw together kind of in a pinch. And then lastly, I want you to actually reflect at the end of the week. What worked? Oh, that recipe was awful. Nobody liked it. Well, don't make it again. That recipe was delicious. My whole family loved it. So write it down, track it so that you can make it again, right? So set it kind of aside, and that list is going to grow. And then next thing you know, you're going to have a rotation of your favorite meals that you make. So each weekend you're like, oh, yep, we're going to make beef bulgogi this week. So I need to make sure that we have some nice lean steak. We're going to make chicken parmesan another day. I need to make sure we have some good chicken breast and rice. So, just to have those and track kind of what worked well and what didn't work so well. And so that you can save yourself time knowing that, oh, yep, I really liked to, roast that big pan of veggies. It really made it easier during the week to be able to throw into things. Because meal planning can evolve. Your job is to make it fit for you, right? Not the other way around. You don't have to fit the meal planning or fit that mold like what everyone else is doing, because that might not work for you and your family. So figure out what works best. Maybe you just pull out 3 pounds of chicken breast and you throw them on the grill. You slice them up, and then that helps you to be able to throw them on salads or throw them in dishes. It's different for everybody and what works for everybody. So it doesn't sound so bad, does it? A few simple steps and suddenly meal planning, it doesn't feel so much like a chore. It feels more like a little freedom. Once you do it a few times, it can become more habitual, more second nature. And you're going to notice that you're eating better and that you're able to reach those health and wellness goals easier because you're not, falling prey to ordering DoorDash or running out, and grabbing things for dinner, or maybe throwing that frozen pizza into the oven as often. It's going to help to, quiet those cravings down because you're eating more quality food that is more satisfying and filling. And that what's for dinner panic, it starts to disappear, because you have that plan. The main thing I want you to take away from this is that meal planning, it's not about being perfect. It's just about being prepared. It's one of the simplest ways to make sure your nutrition supports your goals, your hormones, your energy, especially now in midlife. And when we're prepared, everything else feels easier. Okay, so that's a wrap on today's episode. Remember, meal planning, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's a simple way to make your week smoother. It's to make your energy steadier and your goals more achievable. And if you want a head start, don't forget to grab your free 7-day high-protein meal plan. It's got simple, delicious recipes, grocery lists, and full macros. So it has a full nutritionals to keep you on track. So just check the link in the show notes. And hey, you know what? If this episode made you laugh, learn, or even just feel seen, share it with a friend who's trying to get her groove back too, and leave a quick rating or review. It really does help more women to find the show. And if you do want to see some more meal prep, yummy recipes, follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Strength and Nutrition LLC. And as always, progress over perfection. We are in this for the long haul, and this is your season of strength. Have a fantastic day.